Hi everyone, thanks for tuning into this week's video, and we are going to be going into a interesting topic: emotional and invisible labour. So you may never have even heard of those terms, or you may have just recently heard about them because they're getting discussed a little bit more. So I want to talk about both of those things. They kind of are two things that are joined together, two sides of the same coin. And what it basically means is emotional and invisible labour are the tasks and the work we carry out outside of our day jobs, our day-to-day, pick up a paycheck kind of work. These are the tasks and the labour that go on outside of that. And they are often, God, I could get some terrible feedback for saying this, but I genuinely do believe that these tasks are more often than not carried out by women, by females who are in heterosexual relationships, or if you are in a same-sex relationship, normally someone picks up this role. And it's the women out there of the world that are really carrying the weight and doing the lion's share of this sort of work, from all of my research and in my personal opinion of what I see. So we're going to be talking mostly about what the women are going through, but also as well about how the men in our lives and the other people in our lives can support us in this work and realise how important it is. And, a few examples of what this sort of work looks like. It's the stuff that we take on, like the household maintenance, the childcare, the parent, the tough emotional side of the parenting, the shopping lists, the to fix lists in the house, the doctor's appointments, the hospital appointments, the friend or family member that's going through a difficult time and needs that emotional support, or that person who's just got a cancer diagnosis or an illness, and you are there stepping in to give that emotional support and to be that rock in that person's life. So they're the kind of things that emotional labour involves. And, it can be a lot to carry all of that. And it's often work that I think, like the title invisible labour kind of insinuates, is that it's work that's not really seen or appreciated by wider society. That's where the issue lies for me, is that this work that's going on, this tireless, this highly energetic work that women are doing emotionally and physically, but a lot of it is emotional, is really, really taxing. And there's not that appreciation and that recognition for what women go through and what women do on a day-to-day basis to keep the cogs turning and to keep people happy and everything in equilibrium, which is what we spend a lot of our time doing, me included. And so this emotional invisible labour topic is coming more and more to the front because women are actually speaking out and stepping up and saying, this is a big task in my life, and there are times when it's too much and there's not that recognition and there's not that support that we all need to carry on doing something. So it's a really interesting topic where I think there's a lot of different emotions going on. There's anger, there's bitterness, there's sadness, there's feistiness, and there's also a lot of love and care and nourishment and all of these different swirling things going on around this topic, which is what I really want to dig into today, looking into the past, looking at where we are now, and looking at where we could go with this in the future. So I feel like in the past, women, whatever we've got to say about how the world has changed, many obviously amazing things, that women can be financially independent, they can hold their own in the workplace, they can give so much, and women are doing that now. Lots of women are working part-time or full-time, same as a counterpart male, and they are doing all of that work, which has huge benefits. But it also is a challenge when women are also still the primary emotional and invisible labourers in life. So not only are you going to work and doing your 9 to 5 or whatever it is that you're doing, putting those hours in, but you're also coming home and doing the majority of the emotional labour and the invisible labour in the household, within the family, amongst the wider community. So that's where challenges arise, because there are imbalances, and the seen work is not all that's going on. The invisible work that's going on underneath that is just not getting the recognition that it deserves. So previously, when women didn't go out to work and women stayed at home, the labour in the household, the emotional labour and all of the invisible labour would have been pretty much a full-time job for that woman, around childcare as well. So all of those tasks are still often falling to women to carry out, as well as being at work full-time, which is tough. Like, it's really hard. And we also live in a very, in my opinion, well, it's not just in my opinion, come on, we all know that we live in a very masculine world, and it's very driven. And in terms of, like, from an energetic perspective, if you've got yin and you've got yang, it's very yang in energy. So what we are given approval and appreciation and respect for and status in today's world often is this idea of going out and making your mark on the world, and it's very individualistic about what you can do as this kind of entrepreneur, or this vision of going out and making money, and that's how people gain a lot of status or doing well and being successful in their career. Whereas people that are giving much of their lives to helping and caring for other people and nurturing and doing all of those sorts of tasks, all the kind of fluffy stuff, as I like to call it, or I don't like to call it, but that's often what it's seen as, is not given that same level of respect and acknowledgement and appreciation, which I think is a massive issue when it comes to emotional labour and invisible labour, because these tasks are the bedrock of society. So caring for people and nurturing children and caring for the elderly and relatives and sick people and keeping a household going, these are the bedrocks of life. And if women just decided that they weren't going to do those things anymore because they weren't getting paid, then, you know, society would crumble. The pressure on external systems would be huge, and it just wouldn't work. So it's really important that we have a voice and we can say, you know, we deserve to have respect and to be appreciated for this work that we are doing in the world. Women have this phenomenal gift, this nurturing energy, this feminine power and empathy and warmth and sensitivity that is so needed right now. It's hugely missing in the world, and I think that's where a lot of the issues that we're seeing now are coming from, this lack of appreciation for the feminine. And that's not just from men, that's also from the wider discussion around sort of certain elements of feminism. Even I would describe myself as a feminist. I believe that everyone should have the equal opportunity to go out and do things in the world, but that doesn't mean that I want to be the same as a man, and I don't see that there's value in those nurturing, feminine, traditionally more feminine qualities, and I want to celebrate those in myself. And I know a lot of feminists don't think that that's a bad thing. It's just this certain element of feminism that can be seen like that. So it's really interesting, like, how things have changed. So for example, in history and going back even into mythology and all of the different things within the country I'm from, within England, with, you know, the before Christianity and Druids, and we used to worship goddesses, and there was a huge respect and devotion to the goddess energy and the feminine energy. And then that has slowly over time dissipated and gone away, and now it's almost seen as a weak kind of unproductive value. Often that's how it's presented, or it has been for me throughout my life. And then we go over to America and we can see that how much has changed since Native American culture, would have very much worshipped the feminine aspects of life and would have highly valued what the females in the tribe or different communities could bring, and the balance that gave and how important that was. And I think that that's something where we've really come away from that in the present day now, as I've just said, with the way that the energy flows and what is appreciated and what's respected. And caring work is only going to become more and more important. The amount of mental health issues that people are presenting with, we can't expect external systems to take that on. It's the work that a lot of women are going to be picking up, and women are going to be doing the lion's share of that work. And I don't want to say that that's a bad thing necessarily, because this is our gift as women. I'm really kind of talking in generalized terms here, because obviously there will be some men that are also incredible at doing this work, and there'll be some women that, this isn't their strength. But as a general whole, women have these phenomenal gifts and they should be able to share them, but they, in my opinion, need to be respected. They need to be honoured. It's not that women want a fanfare and a red carpet or necessarily like a monetary exchange for doing this work, but we need to be valued and seen and respected by other women, by wider society, and by the men in our lives. And there are going to be times when it will be too much for us, the emotional load on top of, say, working a full-time job, childcare, caring for family, giving emotional support to friends and other people. It's absolutely exhausting at times, and I think that we need to be in a place where we can say to our partner, whether that's a male or a female or another male, we need to be able to say to them, I am really struggling right now. I feel like I'm overwhelmed with all of the kind of labour that I'm doing. I'm working and then I'm doing all of these other things to support everyone. I really need you to acknowledge what I'm doing. I need to be able to talk to you about what I'm going through, and I need your support on these certain things if you can help me. And it's about coming at it from a place of not necessarily being kind of bitter and angry towards people, because I think that often it's done unintentionally, but just being able to be brave and say, I am doing a lot of these things and they're incredible, but I also need support from you. So we also need to be able to acknowledge and celebrate what we're doing, recognize when we're tipping over, when it's too much, and be able to go to other people and say, I really need you to see what I'm doing, and I need you to hear me, and I need you to step up and support me in these ways that I need. So it's an interesting topic, and there are lots of people talking about it. There's somebody that's written a book on it. She wrote this article about emotional labour that went viral. So I'll post a link below to that book that you can buy if this is a topic you're particularly interested in. And then there's also a really good podcast with the Dear Sugars, that's Cheryl Strayed that wrote the book Wild, and Steve Almond, and this woman that wrote this book was on their podcast, and they were really talking about how even in progressive relationships, which we're striving for equality and we want men and women to take 50-50, it often still just falls to the women to take up this work and take on this role. So it's definitely interesting to delve into and see where this takes you, and if it's sparked something in you or you feel like this, it would be really interesting to hear your opinions on it. I don't know if you can hear downstairs, but my cat is crying because she wants me. So there you go, that's emotional labour. Not only do I kind of support all of my relatives and work and, you know, supporting people through different challenges and attending hospital appointments, I've also got a cat that constantly wants to be cuddled and given attention as well. But my husband is amazing, and I just want to point that out, that I'm very blessed in the sense that we do have kind of a really good relationship when it comes to emotional and invisible labour, and I don't feel like I'm left in the lurch on that one. But, you know, I enjoy doing it. Like I said before, it's a gift, it's a feminine gift, it's our power, but let's see the world celebrate our power like Native American tribes used to do, and people in Britain used to do, and Druids used to do, and we worship the goddess energy. Let's see more of that coming back into society. Okay, thank you for listening to me talk about this topic. If you've enjoyed this video, please like and share with other women in our tribe who need to hear this. And if you like the kind of content I'm producing, you can subscribe to my channel and press the little bell so you know you get a little bell when I post a new video. Okay, see you next week. Thanks guys, bye.